Peace and prosperity be unto all who's listening and watching. It's your girl, Shaeranea, right now. I'm back with another video. Hey, everybody. How are you guys? I had a real good video topic that I wanted to talk about. And the topic itself has already gone viral on my page. But I want to talk about that topic on another day. So today I'm going to talk about how sometimes the very things that are pure, the very things that are good in this life, like the genuine things that, you know, don't come with lust, greed, or hatred, or being selfish. The very selfless and the very purest things, the valuable things, the things that matter most, the things that has the most value and substance, usually is overlooked. And sometimes pursuing something good sometimes feel very vain. Pursuing love can be vain. Pursuing your dreams can be vain. Anything that is pure, anything that feels really good feels so vain, because the end results is never the outcome in which you expect or desire. It can go 1,000 different outcomes. It can be something entirely different than what you expect. You could work so hard and get nothing, you know, and that is the reality of desiring. That is the reality of wanting. That's the reality of, you know, putting your heart into anything, or putting your devotion into anything, your compassion or your ability to want, and really laying your heart out there. It's hard to want in this life. It's hard to want anything, whether that is, I know a lot of people who have dreams that don't pursue it because they don't like the resistantness. The resistantness is flying the plane against the wind. It's flying against a force in which you know it's there. That you know, basically flying against the wind. So it's knowing that you're gonna have to go up against something in which that you may or may not want to go up against in order to get something you want. It's kind of like, let me use another terminology. It's like saying I want cookies or I want a milkshake, and you go to Whataburger or anywhere and you see how long the line is, but you don't want to endure the process and what it's going to take to get the milkshake, because you see it from one perspective instead of seeing what you desire. You see the process and how long it's going to take. Other people see, well, this is what I want. And sometimes, no matter how you see it, whether you see the process or you see the desire of what you're doing, and you see the sincerity of what you're pursuing, and no matter which one you see, sometimes the results don't change. And you can make a full effort into anything and just about everything, and the outcome won't always be the way you want. So I assure you that it's a lot of things in this life that I wanted it to be my way, but it never turned out to be that way. And sometimes it's just like, it's kind of pointless sometimes. But I'm not saying you shouldn't fight for something. I'm not saying that you shouldn't make a difference. I'm not saying you shouldn't fight for a change. I'm not saying you shouldn't want to do or desire. I'm just saying sometimes, even in good desires, even in pure desires, that has nothing to do with lust, that has nothing to do with greed, or being greedy, or just like being selfish, even the most purest desires become vain. And when you're most sincere and most honest and most committed and most devoted, it can very turn against you, and be the very thing that makes your heart turn inside out against you. And it is such a terrible feeling, because if you're a good person, you often are concerned or wonder why it happened to you, or why does it happen at all, you know? I mean, because you're sincere, and these are like really great desires. These are, you see nothing wrong with what you desire, and it's hard to process like all of that stuff. And I am somebody who, you know, I have friends that I know that don't pursue things because, like, they I know this one person, he's an alcoholic, and he knows he's a bad alcoholic. He can't stop drinking, but if he doesn't drink, he can't sleep. So he insists on drinking, but he knows if he does start like a program that helps him intoxicate or detox, he is afraid of the risk, but he's also afraid to deal with what's gonna happen when he stops drinking. It's like when you know all of the outs and ins of what you might have to do, sometimes fear steps in and becomes the winner and oppresses the person in which should have been the oppressor of fear. You should have oppressed fear and went through the process and seeked out what you desire. But everybody has something that they can't face. Everybody has something they can't overcome. And that was something about that video I was going to make, but it was like me talking about abandonment again, but it was me talking about how abandonment affects us all and how it's really destroyed the nation of people, and what ways you can see it in men, women, and children, and how our desire sometimes, even as a child, the disappointment of not getting the things we want, it all starts early on in our lives. And a lot of us were taught to work hard and to, you know, go out there and get the things we want. But, you know, like I say, guys, some people see the process of what it's going to take, and the process in itself put fear in them to, you know, even stop going forward to pursue that very thing that they desire. And then some people see what they desire, learn how to do the process, is willing to go through the process, making the sacrifice despite the outcome. And then some people know both of them. They're like in the middle. They'll make an effort. They'll have half of their foot in and then half their foot out. They're 50% in and 50% out, and they don't fully decide. So they're half committed throughout their life, and nothing ever fully happens for them, because they never fully accomplish anything, because they're never sure about it, because they're never sure about their commitments and the things they choose, and they're very indecisive about their lives and their decisions and the things they want. And they'll say one thing and they'll reflect another. And they you know, for those people who struggle with deciding and making decisions for yourself, you make your life very harder than it is. Life is so full of suffering, and if you don't learn to choose, you're going to always end up in predicaments in which you can't control, because there's always some things in our lives that we can't control. And one thing for sure, you got to decide which one you're going to be. Are you going to be the one who's going to choose the process and just stop and never go on? Or are you going to be the one that sees the desire, see the thing you want, and despite the results, you're going to keep going forward? Or are you going to be that someone who's always half committed, never truly decides, and never get anywhere with anything? Somebody who never starts, the one who starts and despite results, they still stay committed. And then the one that's like never getting what they want ever, because they can never decide. And that's the reality of people. Like, because, you know, even people say it's like it's always two sides of people. It's always three sides of people. You got the one that sees the process and never begin, because the fear oppresses the mind and enables the actions and stops people from doing things, because it seems like the consequences of this is way worse than actually doing. So the wind wins against the plane. Instead of flying against the wind, they've parked it, and then the other is, okay, well, since I gotta fly against the wind, I might as well get started. It flies against it and it gets to its destination. Despite how long or how far it's gonna take, it gets there. The last one is knowing that you have to get to a certain point A to point B, and is not filling your gas tank up till the point that you need, and is getting lost in some sort of forest or something. It's like crashing your plane intentionally, knowing that you needed more gas but you did not put nothing in, or didn't bring any more with you, is intentionally destroying yourself because you never decided to be committed in the first place. And that is a big fail in life. And I know I use a lot of terminologies in my video because I am a very intellectual person, and I do believe that the only way people can understand a lot of things is if it's broken down in terminologies and concepts and different things that helps them understand it in their minds. Because I could talk about things and break things down, but what I learned in school is, and I learned from a book I read, and I learned from my own encounterment and my experience, is that not everybody is able to see on different perspectives. Even though they could sit back and understand your viewpoint, they'd be like, yeah, they can agree. And then some people are strong enough to admit, hey, you're right about certain things. And there's a lot of people, even if they say you're right and they know you're right, and they can agree with you and correct their mistakes in a conversation, or be with you in your perspective, that doesn't change their perspective. It doesn't change the way they see. It doesn't change the way they think. It doesn't change the reality of their life or what's going on in their mind. So the biggest thing for me is learning how to really get my point across in everybody's perspective, because I be on red most of the time trying to get my point across to people, because people are stuck on one set mentalities that in which doesn't serve them purpose or doesn't grow them, because being stuck in your own mentality or your own way of thinking is not the way. And it's a lot of people who believe in growth and are not even there on a mental capacity. And you would think a lot of people who are about that would be better at that, but they're not. So I'm not expecting people to be perfect, but I'm saying, if you're somebody who believes in growth and you believe in all these different things and I expect you to expand your perspectives and your way of perceiving and get a better understanding of everybody, because I do understand other people. I do understand what people are saying. I just believe people limit themselves and make half-assed decisions. So people must forgive me for not having real consideration. Sometimes it's not that I don't care. It's just that I believe people make excuses all the time. And that's really why I don't really indulge in what people are saying. I don't engage in most things, but I feel people find many excuses to justify all their reasons for why they do and don't do certain things. So if you're at this point in life and all your excuses are a justification of why you cannot perceive or think beyond, then I suggest you really work on yourself, because there's a lot of people like you out there. So I love you guys. I hope you got something out of this video. Who are you? Which one do you choose to be? Please figure it out, because are you going to be the difference? Are you going to be the change? Are you going to be like everybody in this world? Or are you going to be the one who stands out? And sometimes you got to set yourself apart from everybody else. And it can be kind of hard, but I promise you it's worth it. I'm someone who's never stuck to the crowd. So just figure out, comment, like, share, subscribe, and like this video. And if you're interested in more like videos like this with these terminologies, so I could break these things down like this, just let me know. I love you guys.